Hello and welcome to Trusty Chords, the podcast which aims to celebrate music and those that create it. If you're a fan of music from the 90s or just the indie rock genre in general, then the chances are pretty much perfect that you're aware of the Lemonheads. First formed in Boston back in 1986, the group has been fronted by Evan Dando since its earliest days, with Dando being the driving force and only original member since 1989. The Lemonheads rose to widespread prominence in the early 90s thanks to records like It's a Shame About Ray and Come On Feel the Lemonheads, with the former being largely written in Australia when Dando became good friends with Smudge's Tom Morgan. Though the Lemonheads would split back in 1997, they've been an active presence again since 2005, with a self-titled record arriving in 2006. Since then, there's been a few archival releases and reissues, while the brilliant Varshons cover albums arrived in 2009 and 2019. However, earlier this year, it was announced that the Lemonheads would finally be releasing their first new record of original material since 2006. Titled Love Chant, it's a brilliant record that any self-respecting music fan needs to listen to immediately. News of the record also brought with it a return to Australia for the Lemonheads, who played their first local shows in the country since 2019, back in May. A massive return for a group who are effectively honorary Australians these days. I was lucky enough to get a chance to catch up with Dando while he was in the country, visiting him in his hotel room for his first local interview just hours after he landed in the country. If you know me, then you'd likely know how stoked I was to have this opportunity to chat to a figure in the musical world whose legacy has been immensely impactful. But as expected, it was a bit of a wildcard experience, with Dando also giving this podcast its first live performance of, well, anything to date. We also had a couple of technical issues, but it works out fairly well, I feel. Anyway, have a listen to the Lemonheads Love Chant, have a listen to our chat, and I'll see you at the end of the episode for some general housekeeping. Evan Dando, thank you very much for joining this episode of the Trusty Chords podcast.
No, my pleasure. No problem.
So for those who might not recognise your name, could you give me a quick few words on who you are and why we're chatting today in your Melbourne accommodation?
I think I started a band in high school. We called ourselves Lemonheads, and we're still going, but it's different people. And I sort of morphed here in Australia because we took a left turn here because I met some people, Nick Dalton and Tom Morgan, Sneeze, and we recorded a song for the first Sneeze record, and then it was like all about me and Tom on these two records. Come On Feel the Lemonheads, It's a Shame About Ray. A lot of it was about Australia. Most of it was about Australia. It was in Sydney back then, and like Glebe, Annandale area, and now, that's why I'm here, because we're back to play those albums right now.
Wonderful. I always like a nice, informative, succinct intro, so I appreciate that.
Sure.
So what I always love to do at the start of these podcasts is actually go back in time to where love of music first formed. So if you, Evan, do you have a recollection of your earliest memory of when music first resonated?
Certainly, yeah. I love Heatwave by Martha and the Vandellas, and Don't Mess with Bill. Is that the Marvelettes or something? Don't mess with... The beginning of the melody is really cool. And I loved Maggie May. This is all like the radio, and the Jackson 5. I liked John Denver when I was really little. I don't know why, but I do. I think he's good still, but yeah, it's good for little kids. Really good. The first things, that was it, and then when I was 14... went to the next level with Modern Lovers, Velvet Underground, and the Stooges, the way most people do when they're really getting into the real stuff. And I got into that early, 14, 15. And Big Star, when we were really young, because one of our teachers at school had the record. No one had that record. Like Radio City was the one we had, because our English teacher, had it. Our school was really cool. It had one rule: no roller skating in hallways. Of course, it meant don't be an asshole. You could still get in trouble, but it was an rule to beat all rules, And it was just a great place. I liked it so much I spent 5 years there. I spent 2 ninth grades. But music, Big Star, the Stooges, Modern Lovers, Velvet Underground. Initially it was like Motown and Jackson Browne and James Brown. Yeah.
So were you ever someone who was listening to music at that time and saying, man, that is something I want to do. I want to become one of those creators?
It's funny because no, it was definitely just sort of happened for me. Like I loved playing the guitar, and it was mostly just, I never dreamt of You know, if you heard a song like Jukebox Hero or something by Foreigner,
Yeah.
it made me cringe. You know, I never like wanted to be a musician. I didn't think it was something I was going to do. I wanted to be a writer. I love books. You know, that's what I wanted to do. And so, and I thought, you know, I didn't know I was cut out to be that, which I found out. It's sort of like Hitler, because he really realized he could make a really good speech. He was like, well, "Let's just go with it." It's an unfortunate analogy, but it's the same. I realized I could do it. I got on stage and I was like transformed. All my friends said, you know, and it was like I was shy in real life, so it was a good time to be extroverted, you know, and have fun.
So when did you actually sort of like start writing your own music?
It was early, like right around 10, 11. You know, none of those really, some of them actually did make it on some B-side. But we were writing songs since I went to the Vineyard and hung out with my dad a lot. And after he left and we got back sort of hanging out together on Martha's Vineyard, I started playing a lot. We'd be fishing and I'd have a guitar. And I'd write songs, you know, and just to basically to soothe my own, you know, to make me myself feel better. It was a lot of the motivation, because I think music does that best, you know. It's the best, someone said it's the best medicine for emotions, and it's true.
So, like, do you remember the first song that you wrote?
Well, for the band, it was a song called Mad. It was like, and it got left off our first record that we recorded the day after high school graduation. My friend was like, it's too generic, but I wish we'd put it on, because instead we did a cover of I Am a Rabbit. That was great too. But so that was the first one I wrote for the band, Mad. It was called. It's like a kind of spy thing with lots of screaming. And the first song, I wrote some songs like dumb blues songs where my cousin Eric would write the words and I'd just play. And we wrote one of the earliest, I think, right-wing folk songs ever on record, actually. Right. And this is my two firsts. I got COVID before anyone else. I was in Portland, and I was like, I went back to LA, and I couldn't taste for 2 weeks, and I felt, why can't I breathe? And it wasn't, luckily I didn't know what it was, because I was just like, it must be all the fucking drugs I've been taking. And so I was like, why can't I fucking breathe? And why doesn't my steak taste? And I realized I had COVID, like, I must have been case number under 1,000 anyway. Anyway, so that was that, and it was the other thing. Oh, shit, I had another first that was connected to music and was actually on the subject. What did you ask me?
The first song that you actually wrote, yeah.
Wow, I don't know now. I was also one of the first something else's. I don't know what. Oh, damn. Oh, wow, I've lost it because of COVID.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But actually, it is
the first song I wrote, I said it was Mad, or this, yeah, Deep Bottom Cove. Me and my cousin Eric wrote it. That was Deep Bottom Cove. It came out and everything. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a musician myself, not quite to sort of your level of touring and everything. Yeah. But I mean, I've recently started actually releasing some of my own music. Yeah. And actually, the very first song I actually recorded and released was actually it's basically your cover of the Misfits' Skulls.
Right on.
Because
I like that reading of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great video on YouTube someone made. I don't know. It's all these penguins and animals and stuff. Yeah, that was like I always had to put humor in there, contrasting humor, sort of perversity and stuff like that always appealed to me.
Yeah, because I was always finding a lot of artists actually doing more stripped back versions of those sort of punky songs.
Yeah, and it's not that much fun, really. I mean, it is, but
it's like when you take it away, you start realizing actually it's quite a good song hidden under.
It is a good song.
It's
really wonderful. That guy can write them like Spinal. Hybrid Moments and stuff.
That's another one I covered for that little EP.
So good, and I mean, come on, like Glenn Danzig, man.
Yeah. So when did the Lemonheads actually first, come to be an actual band and start really playing?
Our first gig, real gig at a place where people paid, like at the Rat, August 18th or 19th, it was '86.
Right. So it's obviously a day that you remember quite well then.
Yeah, it was amazing. We did really well. We had like 300 people. A lot of them were friends, but a lot of people came down because we had a lot of nepotism going on with Harvard Radio at the time too, and they were playing the hell out of our tape, but people liked it. So, as nepotism at its best. So that's a tongue twister.
So what was the reaction to the band in those early days? I mean, apart from
it was like, oh, okay, yeah, right, punk rock. Oh, how quaint, basically. I think because it wasn't cool to be punk back then. That was why we wanted to do it. We're like, punk rock, man. We had like padlocks and chains and like, you know, we didn't have mohawks and stuff, but I used to sometimes do the discharge thing early on with the sugar water because I had kind of longish hair and I put it all up like, because they were always, I had that record, you know, Decontrol, like one of my first hardcore records I ever bought. They're amazing, those guys. And I like a lot of that stuff, like Napalm Death and Pig Destroyer, and you know, a lot of that stuff is awesome. And you know, really hard music. I like a lot of that shit.
So was there a specific moment, I guess, when sort of the Lemonheads started moving away from the more punky sound and started going towards, I guess, you know, what you sort of became a bit more famous with in the early 90s?
It was like, you know, it's a shame about Ray because we weren't, you know, Lovey has some really quiet things on it, but so we were always like sort of two minds in the whole thing, you know, what should we do? And then when like Nevermind came out, I was like, well, you know, they've sort of claimed that territory we were sort of occupying and made it their own. And so why don't we go take a left turn or a right turn and just really back up and make it quiet and pretty, you know? That was our only option kind of at that point. I hate to say it, but I think it was a little bit of a reaction to that, you know? And I think it's cool because it makes it a little more, there's nothing, I think also the Nirvana record's timeless in a way. But what we did is really like purist sort of pop, sort of, I don't know, with you can hear the Ramones in there still, but it's like a lot of acoustic guitars. And it was, I think it served us well in the long run, which a lot of the other things we didn't, like the Mrs. Robinson cover, man. We were actually bullied into that, and they were just thinking of us as a cash cow. They thought we'd just be gone. And I've been very resolute. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still, although I went away for a long time because I didn't have a good record to put out, and now I do.
Well, we will definitely be touching on that very soon. But I guess, you know, you mentioned sort of It's a Shame About Ray, sort of being the moment in which, you know, I guess the spotlight is shone upon you on a much grander scale. Oh, yeah. So how do you look back on that time, not only recording the album, but just the release of it as well?
Yeah, it was like, it was sort of things were really cool before Mrs. Robinson. Like, we were doing well, but then they tacked that on there. And everything went completely crazy. It was in like the middle of an English tour, and it was just like, felt like David Cassidy or something. They put me in a room, and everyone trying to get in. Like the girls were trying to get in. Like it was still scary, but it was funny as hell too. Things like on a tour towards London, we started going nuts, you know, and it was like, it was cool, you know. We didn't. The recording wasn't bad. We only did that Mrs. Robinson song once ever. We played it once, like in the studio, because we got it all, the different parts, and we got it on the first take. So we only played it once, and it was supposed to be this. You know, we didn't want to put it on the album, but whatever. I can't complain about it now because you know what? Scorsese put it in a movie, and it was perfect. So
that's right.
That makes it okay.
Yeah.
Thank God for Marty. You know, I've been so lucky because even that obvious mistake. Like all my friends were so pissed at me. Like, Evan, what the fuck? Like, really? I was like, I couldn't help it. And I think that it's okay now because of that movie.
Yeah.
You know, so that's great.
Yeah, because I mean, I do often find that, you know, just a mention of the Lemonheads, people seem to sort of like lead with that cover. And, but there's such a much more diverse and vast discography.
Yeah,
like,
that's okay.
Does that frustrate you though?
I mean, you know what? It's cool. You know, it's just more stuff for people to discover if they want to, and you know, like in a way, it was great because we didn't like explode like crazy, like 10 million records. So you know, we'd sell like almost a million records on Shame About Ray, but that's better. That's like enough, you know, success for me all at once because it's like it's very scary, you know, and I don't even. And no one really gets through that in one piece. Like only a couple people. Yeah. Like Neil Young, I don't know. He negotiated it really pretty well, but he's crazy. I don't know. Anyway, you know, he was always well adjusted, but of course. In person, he's like not mellow at all. Like all those soft rockers, you got to look out for them. Like the heavy metal guys are all cool, man. They're nice, chill guys, and the soft rockers, to an artist, are fucking crazy, man. Jackson Brown's like pick a window because you're going through it to his girlfriend, and here's John Denver sawing with a chainsaw through a couch saying getting a divorce, like that one's yours, that says yours, that's not mine. You know, like they're all fucking maniacs, like homicidal, like at least sociopathic, you know, John Henley. Give me any soft rocker, and they're all crazy. Cat Stevens had to move to fucking wherever. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Totally, yeah.
So you got to beware of soft rock.
It's definitely not what you'd expect from them. But I guess, you know, like when you sort of look back at those early days to that fame that came your way, had you ever expected any sort of spotlight?
No.
Like,
actually, I always had a sort of like I might do something like in show business someday, because I had like I was in all the plays and stuff at school, and I always felt good performing. Like in real life, I was pretty subdued, like sometimes, but I really enjoyed being a part of something like an artistic thing, and I always wanted to do that, and it turned out to be music, you know.
Mm. It's also rather fitting that you mentioned sort of like the plays and everything, because just on the train on the way to this interview, I was revisiting "It's a Shame About Ray," and one of my favorite versions on that album is the version of Frank Mills. From
I love that song.
It's such a brilliantly written
song. I thought it was
song.
a really good idea. Yeah, everyone, not many people. Some people got it, but like the Rob Brothers, Daryl, whatever. And it wasn't in the movie. That's why I did it, because it wasn't in the. Being my age, I was like, they missed that best song on that. You know. In the movie of it, Hair, terrible movie. But you know, Diane Keaton is in the original, and I thought that song was great. And there's a couple good songs on Hair. Yeah, I'm sort of getting into that sort of music again, like Jesus Christ Superstar and all that. But there's just a couple songs on my new record there almost could be in like some sort of '70s Christian like play or some musical. But I mean, what are you gonna do? They're just songs I wrote. Yeah.
I mean, actually, I think as we speak, there's a production of Jesus Christ Superstar playing in Melbourne.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely
right
coming back.
Yeah. So the Lemonheads became inactive in 1997, I think it was, and then 9 years later, there's a new album. So I guess what was that impetus for actually, I guess, reactivating?
It was I was in Brazil, and there was a festival down there with all bands playing our songs and stuff, and it was like we have a strong following in Brazil, where I live now, and it was that and a tour down there, and I hooked up with Carl, who was playing bass in my friend's band, and Carl Alvarez, and he was like, yeah, we can do something with Bill. And we called him and say, well, if I can do a record with Bill, I'll have a Lemonheads record where I have the rhythm section that I always wanted. And I was like, why not, you know? And it was a lot to do with Brazil and the interest, and so we did it. You know? And then it was like a burst. I did a solo record, and right after I did a Lemonheads record, and then I just sort of lost it, like including I lost my Raymond Pettibone drawing in the airport. Like I did a lot of stupid things. I was so sad. I got it back from my friend on the West Coast, and I left it in St. Louis airport. And of course, it was just because Watt was just sending them to us, because Pettibone was, you know, he was just doing them and throwing them across the, you know, he had like and so Mike Watt was like, he sent a couple to me, Juliana, and I lost mine. It's just one of the bad things. And I sort of lost a lot of things as the OxyContin thing got into, and I got my first habits and heroin, and it sort of like got declining, like sort of also, I'd been doing it for a while. I wanted a break, but I took a really long break. I guess that's what I needed.
Although I guess also around that period, we did also get the first like that covers album, Varshons.
Yeah.
Which I have to say,
I like the first one. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite albums of all time. I discovered so many amazing artists.
You know what?
From that.
That's a great record, because like Springer from SSD was playing it for a bunch of like cool people, you know, at his house. He's like, oh, it's Dando. That's Dando too. And he's like, who's this? It's fucking Dando. You know, like, yeah. And so that record, yeah, a lot of people. That one and the I don't know if you've heard. Steve Pav put it out. Griffith Sunset EP is cool too. That's really cool because it has like a Fred Neil. That's another little covers thing, but it's very hard to find. But that Varshons is good.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, it was so much discovery, I guess, that I experienced from that. Like, you know, I mean, even discovering bands.
Gopal.
Well, even discovering bands like you know, Fuck Emos and things like that.
Yes, they're so good.
Yeah, and I mean, and also being able to sort of reimagine artists like Gigi Allen in such a wonderful light.
That was the whole reason for that record, you know, because I was hanging around a lot with Gibby, and I bought this painting, and I thought, of course, you don't have to buy a painting to put it on your record cover. You just get the rights for it. But I was kind of like, I'm always been a bit simple, and I was like, well, I want to put that on a record cover, and so I got to do a record. Obviously, you know, it was expensive, this thing. It's like 20 grand or something, and so I need to justify it. And you know, so, and I said to Gibby, "Can we make a record?" And he picked all the songs except for like 2 or something. He made me do I'm a Dirty Robot, which is great, but like I didn't want to do Beautiful or any of that, but it all came out cool. We had John Perry from The Only Ones on it. So that was a big thing too.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was the guy from, finished it off up at Fort Apache that got him involved. This guy from Corner Shop.
I know his name.
Anyway.
I'm sure it'll come to us later.
Yeah, this is great, yeah.
Yeah, also a great band, Corner Shop.
Yes, amazing.
Brilliant band.
Yeah, krautrock for the 90s or something.
Well, actually, I mean...
Kind of like, almost like the Silver Apples or, like weird. Yeah, great.
I mean, also actually hearing you mention now that, Gibby was the one who picked those songs as well.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. Like, artists like Fuck Emos.
Like, they were friends of his. Yeah, I got to be friends with them. Yeah, they used to cover it. Yeah.
So then... well, I should say, currently you're in Australia because you're performing the I've got the names. To Shame About Ray and Come On Field.
Yeah, we're going to unperform both albums. It's Shame About Ray and Come On Field Lemonheads. Yeah. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. Yeah. We'll see. And my shoulder, I have a rotator cuff. I think today I learned an exercise that's going to make it better apparently, but it's so annoying having a shoulder thing because everything you do, especially put on a shirt that you do a lot, gets to be really painful. But, I'm fucking old now, so I got to deal with that shit. I have a new exercise that's working. But so I should be fine.
But I guess on that topic of, I don't want to say age, but,
why not?
Looking back on albums like that and revisiting them, bringing them to the stage again, how has that felt for you?
I mean, it's okay if I can sing the notes, I have to sleep now, unfortunately. I hate those tiny slices of death, but I have to do it now, and then I'm pretty much fine, Yeah.
So the tour so far, like, because you've obviously been doing shows last year and everything.
I toured throughout. I had to live, until COVID. I was touring on these fucking endless reissue tours. Which is hopefully, with any luck, this is the last one. You're like, it's the 13th anniversary of Baby on Board. You want to go on tour? I don't know. They always get it like a couple years off and stuff. Yeah.
It's the 12-month anniversary of putting the single out.
Yeah. They would do like. Always like 11 years or something, or 15.
It's never a nice round number, is it?
I mean, we eventually got to that with the 30, I don't know how, 20 years? Yeah. 30 years. Is it 30 years? Yeah, 30-year anniversary of Shame About Ray.
Yeah.
That's why I was lucky because Fire put out these really awesome reissues of all those records, and I was just so psyched about that. I was grateful, and I mean, I've been well looked after for like, what I've offered to the world. I've been really lucky in the way that people have taken care of me, and of course there were the early people that rip you off, the Sharks and stuff. A couple of those, you're gonna expect that, but I've been like, I don't know, I had a lot of good something or other, karma or something with some shit. Anyway, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
all the reissues and shit.
I mean, next year is 20 years since the self-titled album, so
I know, right? We got to get that one a little off. I really love that album. That's one of my favorites.
It is a brilliant record. I love it. Yeah. Like I think that was the first one I actually sort of went out and bought because I'd heard all the singles of previous ones. Yeah, and it also got me into the Descendants properly as well.
There we go.
So I can thank you for so many things there, but. We now also do have a new album coming out later this year.
I want to play you a song, one song. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I was lucky enough to actually hear a few sort of like preview songs earlier today. Which I mean, this podcast isn't going to be coming out till around the time of the album.
Oh, album, good.
So we've got plenty of time here.
I'm going to say awesome.
But I guess what made you sort of decide? Hey, 19 years. I've now got material for a new Lemonheads album.
Just the doing of it. I got in. We found a studio that. Roy Cicala actually built in he's the guy that had the record plant or whatever it was called. The really big. He's done Hendrix. He did Velvet, the Velvet Underground. He did all the Harry Nilsson, John Lennon albums. Like he's just the dude.
He's been around. Yeah.
Everyone. He's been dead for a while. But he built this amazing studio in São Paulo where I moved, and luckily her uncle managed. Ton Jobim and Elis Regina, and we went to see this movie he was putting out from those days when he brought them to L.A. All this cool footage he took, of March Waters and that great stuff, and that's where I met Apollo. So there was no play date things like where you have to meet people and try to. It's like we just met and the studio's across the street and. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
natural.
That was.
And then we just went at it like two years. I made demos, playing drums, they're playing everything. We put out a single for the hell of it, and it was great. And then we got to the point where we could bring the boys down, the band I was playing with, and somehow we stayed above water, and now we got the record coming out soon.
So, I mean, when you have such a long time between, new studio albums, do you have any sort of, like, I guess, fear of sort of coming back with a new album? Like, I mean...
I think that every record you put out is like, well, the whole creation is destruction thing, and also it's like a big responsibility to put songs out into people's ears. Like, I don't know, I feel like it sort of can be an intrusion into the world, and I, recognize all this, and I maybe take it a lot too seriously, and I really have to believe in it to put it out, and I've never really, except at the beginning when we didn't know what we were doing, I've never put out a record that I wasn't really, at least into the songs. They didn't necessarily come out perfect, but I was really always wanting to put the records out. And I didn't have that until now, so now it's coming out, because I take it really seriously what I'm putting out into the world. I think it's important.
So a quick note here. It was around this point in the interview that two things happened. My recorder died, and Evan decided to show me a few songs from the then forthcoming Love Chant album. So for about 10 minutes, we just sat and listened to parts of the record. Even though I fixed my recorder, I told him I wouldn't record the music. So we'll pick up here as we get back into the action as I narrate what happened alongside a quick reference to Julian Assange for some reason. There at all, but so I should say, I guess...
Melbourne, WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
Is he back? We got to put him on the guest list. He's like the new Madonna when you put someone on the guest list here in Melbourne. Julian
Assange. So I guess I should say, for the sake of narration, you just showed me the closing song in the album, which is Rocky.
Yeah.
For Rocky Erickson. Now, brilliant song. I mean, so far the ones I've had a brief listen to is like Strategy, In the Margin, Deep End, and Anarchy of Victory.
Wow, I love that one.
Wonderful songs. Like so obviously I haven't heard the entirety of the album, but it is so far just sounds brilliant. Like
it's really relaxed and groovy, and I don't know, it's like natural pretty much, but not too natural. It's like I really like it.
Because I guess I'm very excited just for fans to hear it as well, because at least to me, it sounds exactly like what I would have wanted to hear out of a new Lemonheads album.
Yeah. I think that's what it is too. I mean, really, that was like, I really mean it. Like it had to be fucking good if I was going to put something out, and this one hit the mark for me. It's there. Yeah. And it's really a Lemonheads record. It's very in the ilk of our band, so it's good.
Yeah. So I guess, what does an album like this say about who the Lemonheads and Evan Dando is in 2025?
It says that I've, by hook or by crook, scrounged together 11 songs, basically. And it was like, took me 3 years or something, but it was great. It took more than 3 years, right? Because you got these iPhones, and now you're like, oh, wow, that song. Because I wrote all these songs I forgot about and shit.
Yeah, because I think you were saying just then, like, it was a part of the in Rocky where you'd written when you were 19.
Yeah.
So you're really revisiting.
I do that a lot, like with old riffs that I remember that I wrote ages ago, never used. So, and with any luck, sometimes they fit. Yeah, and that one fits.
So was a lot of this album sort of made by sort of using a lot of old ideas, or was most of it sort of made?
I think that what you do is you have a new idea, and sometimes for the transition part, you could go and find something else if you don't have one already. Also, the best is on the fly in the studio, like, like it's easy to do it if you got pressure.
Of course. Which I guess in this case, not having too much pressure in your head would have been. I mean, would that be a blessing or a curse then? Because you're able to spend a lot more time perfecting it. But if you've got more,
we didn't even. I had a lot of self-imposed pressure, even though it took a long time. It was a transformation. It was like took a while to get shit together, and it just was like going in there. We didn't have a very rigorous schedule. A couple days a week, and a couple years, and I was playing drums a lot. Playing everything, and it was fun the whole way along. And then we had got another album almost ready now, right? So that's cool.
Right. So then, can we expect another album to follow?
I want to, really quickly. Yeah, right. It'll be done soon.
So do you sort of I guess foresee a more prolific sort of version of the Lemonheads going forward, or?
Sure. I mean, definitely 2 records. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty prolific considering the last.
And
20 years.
I basically, I think when I got heroin out of my life, it was like when I reconnected my heart opened up again a bit. Really, it closes you up to everything. That heroin, man, it's not advisable.
I'll do my best to stay clear.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess how do you feel that you're sort of performing as a songwriter these days as well? Because just the songs I've heard so far, they sound like wonderful. I mean you're saying Rocky. The lyric was written by a friend.
My friend Nick Solomon wrote wrote the words, and that happened. It's fun to co-write. I think that a lot of times I write songs myself, and I like those, but I like to co-write too.
Well, I think I might get down to the portion of the podcast in which his namesake is derived. So Trusty Chords sees me follow the 1, 3, and 5 structure of a standard chord. So I ask about one artist that's been influential, 3 albums, and 5 songs. I know that you're getting this question.
Wire?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, we'll get to it.
Wire, because they have an album called 154.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Well, it has to be Wire then.
Yeah. Well, so I guess, Evan, for you, first question would be, who was one artist that's inspired you the most?
One single person.
Whether it be personally or creative. You can have an honourable mention if you like.
Right. I think it's Hank Williams. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is it about Hank Williams that really...
he was just badass. He was the best singer, but wrote great songs. Love his attitude. Looks like George W. Bush, which is weird. but he was like... He had a theory of keeping things simple, and he had tricks. Like, I've got tricks too. Like, you just find like something you read in the magazine, and he'd do his own take on it. He just was trying to get by. He was like, there was a bit of a hustler to him, and he was like badass. I love Hank Williams. Robert Johnson, both of them. They were both hustlers. I mean, I love that shit, and I'll just say Hank Williams at first. Yeah.
Sure. And I should also say, you're also in the very rare position of actually having been chosen in this category of influential artists by one of my previous guests.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
My good friend and musician Beth Seymour said you are her absolute favourite artist.
That's cool. You know what? Yeah, it's not for everybody, but some people really like it. Awesome. And what else?
So the next question I had was, what are 3 albums that have been very influential to you over your life? This could be something...
They have to be Hank Williams albums?
Oh, no, they don't need to be Hank Williams. They can be anything that you
Any
like.
albums, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'd just say Radio City was a big influence because my English teacher had it in 10th grade, and so no one knew about Big Star. We were the only kids that knew about them, basically.
It's really amazing how they flew under the radar.
And I think that, I think maybe Teenage Fan Club must have known about them, but maybe a little after us. But because we recorded Maudlang in '86, and it came out on a compilation, but it's a terrible version. But that record, Radio City, well, hold on a second. Yeah, Radio City, and the Beatles' 4th record that has now Junior, Behave Yourself. Is it? I don't know. It's so different in every country. I think it was either their 3rd or 4th, and I love it's got. I think it has If You Were anyway, the mid phase right before Rubber Soul. I love that phase of the Beatles, and I'm going to call that an album. It's like Babies in Black and all that shit. Like fucking Ticket to Ride, and also 8 Days a Week, like, I don't know, the phase right before Rubber Soul, which is funny because Rubber Soul's good too, and then of course Revolver. But I'd say the mid-early phase of the Beatles, like that. I had an album anyway that had a Buddy Holly cover on it, Words of Love, and I don't want to spoil the party, so that's one of my favorite records. And I gotta give the last one. It's got to go. It'll be Paranoid by Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
mean, it's amazing. Or but Paranoid. You can pick on that one.
I mean, I've always been much more of a master of reality person myself.
Oh,
but
I can.
You
know what? Yeah. And then fucking Sabbath Bloody Sabbath is amazing.
Absolutely,
too.
It's such an amazing run of records, isn't it?
Yeah. They did so many good ones. And then I'm just starting to get into the Dio stuff, which is like I always never really had a chance. Can't get around to everything, but it always comes up. Like I'm at someone's house and they start like playing. Come on, man, you got to get into the Dio stuff. It's gonna be hard, but I think I'm gonna try. But I'll say Master of Reality. Yeah, you're right. Fair. That was huge for me.
Yeah, because I mean, I think
no, Volume 4. Final
choice.
Vinyl 4. Volume 4.
Yeah.
I love that record. But anyway, Black Sabbath.
Because I think I'd also been hearing some reports from like previous Lemonhead shows where you'd been even putting a snippet of Snowblind.
A lot. Yeah, because when we're doing, it always comes after Shame About Ray. It's like, yeah. Yep, because it's just perfect there. Yeah. And then I do a bit of Sleeping Village too.
Yeah. Because I think if you ask me, the only failing that Shame About Ray has is not enough Sabbath riffs in there. That's the only issue. I know.
Yeah. I like that on Dinosaur. So good on is it The Post? She's my post to lean on. I just cut her down. It's like, it's G, G, F, F, yeah. They have always enough Sabbath riffs on their album.
Absolutely.
Dinosaur. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great song. Yeah. She's my post to lean on, and I just cut her down. So I'm out to land on something. Damn. Hopefully a girl will come between me and the value. So good.
It's such a satisfying riff, isn't it?
They're so satisfying.
Yeah.
The repetition.
But lastly, I'd love to know the 5 songs that you could sort of always turn to, whether it be for comfort, excitement, anything at all. Your 5 trusty songs.
Maybe Your Baby Done Made Some Other Plans by Stevie Wonder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's exceptional. Yeah.
Yeah. Sister Ray. I really like. Wait a minute. Green Eyes by Husker Du.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And one more, right? Or two?
It's 2 more. Yeah.
Good. Actually, well, no matter what you stand. No, or else, no. Wait, is it? It's Okay, wait. Okay, Holocaust by Big Star.
Yeah.
And I love Crosstown Traffic by Jimi Hendrix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really nice.
There's a kazoo, I think. You can hear a kazoo in there. I think
true.
it's a kazoo.
Yeah. Actually, I also did liking the mention of Husker Du there, because the band I play in, we've been covering "Don't Want to Know If You're Lonely" for ages.
Yeah,
It's such a brilliant song. But I was lucky enough when Bob Mould was in Melbourne recently. I was lucky enough to go backstage when he was playing solo, and just to sort of like see him. I might have said
Bob's
this in a
so
recent
nice.
podcast.
Yeah.
He's such a lovely man.
God, I've hung out with him a lot. We came to our first show in Minneapolis in '87.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. He's such a wonderful musician and such a huge
It's so
influence.
Scottish sounding. Is he Scottish? I mean, English. Sorry, Irish sounding. It's so Irish sounding. Some of that shit. It's all like Celtic, Irish shit. Like, if you listen to that, it's really Irish sounding to me. He's got to be Irish. He looks Irish. Mould could be an Irish name.
Could be. I mean, I'm no genealogist. I can't
Me
really.
neither, yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, I should say, Evan Dando, I want to say thank you so very much
you.
for being on this episode of the Trusty Chords podcast.
Cool, man. I'm glad to be on it. Good.
Thank you for listening to Trusty Chords. If you listened to this episode and enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it if you were able to take a few moments to like, follow, share, and review this podcast on your preferred platform of choice. As always, no obligation, but I'm forever grateful if you do. As always, I'm over on Instagram and Facebook at Trusty Chords Podcast, all one word. And I've also got the blog on my website, which is tylerjenke.com. That's TYLERJENKE/Trusty Chords Podcast, all one word. That blog features all the details you need to know about this episode, plus a list of all the songs chosen by our guest this week. You can also find a link to the Buy Me a Coffee platform where you can throw me a few dollars to keep this podcast running, if you feel so inclined. Lastly, I need to thank Evan Dando for spending his time with me this week for the podcast, which is a phrase I never thought I'd say, and also to Joe from Joe Corporate Publicity for helping to organise the chat as well. But once again, thank you kindly for listening, and I hope to see you all again next week as I continue to celebrate music and those that create it.